Hello, guys. Hope that you're doing well. Welcome back to yet another episode of the Thought Curator podcast. I'm so excited to have you today, and I have quite an interesting episode lined up for you. So let's get straight into it, and welcome back. Welcome to episode 6 of the Thought Curator podcast. I'm so excited to have you today, and today I just wanted to have a check-in, just to check in and remind you to be graceful with yourself. I have been having a very tough, I think I might say a very tough couple of days, just trying to push through life, just trying to find motivation in the things that I want to push through with. And I just felt like just checking in and reminding you of the grace that you have to give to yourself. Sometimes it's just good to give yourself grace. Some days are going to be hard, some days are going to be very difficult, but you have to wake up every morning with a mind of grace, with a mind of love for yourself, and with a lot of humanity, that there's only some limits that you can get to, and as long as you're trying, then you're doing it. So today, just a few pointers on what you need to motivate yourself through the hard and the difficult days, because they are going to be there, they are going to come, and maybe today is one of that day or one of those days. But just remind yourself of how far you have come from, and that you have a very long way to go yet. You have not yet gotten to where you are going, and just be nice to yourself. Be graceful with yourself. The same grace that you extend to others, it's only nice that sometimes you give yourself the same grace. So, as I said, I have been having a rough couple of days, just struggling with my feelings, struggling to feel motivated, struggling to wake up in the morning and see the brightness in the days. But I'm pushing through it. I'm pushing through it. I am reading whatever I need to read to just inspire me to look at the future with a lot of hope, and to be optimistic when the days get rough, and to really be gentle with myself, because I struggle sometimes a lot with my feelings. I struggle a lot sometimes with my emotions, but giving myself time to process what is going on, to understand what I'm feeling, to really unpack. I sit down and I unpack. My mind goes on a race of feelings and emotions in a turmoil. But when I sit and unpack and try not to beat myself for the things that I failed to do, for the choices that I may have made that are getting me to a point where I feel frustrated, or for whatever reasons, when the difficult days hit, they hit hard, but when the happy days come, they come. And for me, the same way that I would wish for you to do is to embrace the good days. Enjoy the good days, enjoy the moment, count the wins and recognize them. When you're having when you have the hard days that you have zero sales, for example, for my business, when I have zero sales today, the days when I have 5, 10, 20 sales, I feel amazing. I feel like I feel like my days are good. I feel motivated towards doing business even more. But there are days which are harder. And the only thing that reminds me to stick to the course is because I made a pact with myself, because sometimes I beat myself so hard and I feel like I want to give up. I know that we all struggle with the same thing. I know that there are days when you feel like, why am I doing this? Why am I following this? Why am I even sticking to it and it is not paying? So I'm just checking in on you and just reminding you that you are not alone. We all go through it sometimes. And the best thing is just to be strong. Be strong and know that tomorrow is going to be better than today. Good days are coming, good things are on the way, as long as you work hard and believe in yourself. Never give up on that belief. Never give up on yourself. Be confident that you're able to rise again, that you're able to get up the next day and get that which you want. And believing in yourself is the best thing that one can ever do for themselves, so that even when tough times come, even when things get really thick, you know that you're going to push through. You know that you're going to pick yourself up even when you fall. You know that you're going to stand and weather the storms of life, because they can be storms. They can be storms. They can hit really hard. The tides can really be so high. But when you are confident on your ability and you're confident of the source that you get your strength from, but for a fact, I know that God is my source, and I know that even in the tough times, even in the tides, God is always going to be there for me. He's there with me through the storm. He will be there with me at the end of the tunnel. So I look up to him for strength, and I actually pray more when I am in my shittiest of days. It is not right. You should always be, your feelings and your emotions should not dictate your connection with God. I know. And I try to live by the lessons that I've learned in life, and to keep my relationship with God constant. When things are good, He is still the source. When things go south, He is still the source. So I pray often, and I just live my day to Him, because when you can't control something, all you do is to just let it go. So I let it go and I unburden it to God, so that He can provide me the solutions. And He does. God always speaks to us in so many different ways, as long as you're able to sit still and to listen. And while I was doing my Bible study today, there's a word that just came to my attention, that says that when you know God, He's able to speak to you. To be very specific, it says, whoever is of God hears the words of God. The reason why you do not hear them is that you are not of God. So if you're not of God, you will not be able to hear the voice of the Lord. If you're not of God, you will not be able to hear His voice. So get closer to the Creator, get closer to your source of of strength. Get closer to the source so that when you sit still, you're able to hear from him. He's able to correct you. He's able to direct you. He's able to get you up and out of that shitty place. He's able to remind you of who you are. And it says that if you know God, all you need to do is to keep his word. You live by the word of God, and you will be able to bask in the glory that you really know God. Because how can you claim that you know God and you're not able to keep his word? So for me, in the good and the bad days, God is the constant. And he's only constant because I'm able to have a relationship with him every other day. Whether the day is good, whether the day is bad, I'm able to have a connection with him, and I stick to that very righteously, like religiously. I have made a routine to have Bible study. I've made a routine to pray. I've made a routine to live each and every day, just building that relationship. I would like to just continue to grow in my connection with God, to grow in my knowledge of God, to grow in the knowledge of the word, so that I am not I don't despair when things get tough. Because even if I worry, even if I'm anxious a lot. It's a thing that I have. I get anxious about a lot of things. I think it's a thing about being a perfectionist. You always want things to go a certain way, and being an overthinker. So I get anxious a lot. But I've realized that anxiety and worrying is not of God. And it will not help you. Worrying about something is not going to mysteriously provide a solution now. But if you're able to leave it to God and let him handle it, and let him do it his way, and find peace with whatever outcome that comes out of that, I think that's the highest strength you can have. I was listening to a podcast by Jay Shetty, and if there's something that I picked up from that podcast, it's something about strength and being able to be self-controlled and being able to train your mind. He says that the greatest power, or the highest power and strength, the greatest power is to be self-controlled, to train your mind and energy to focus on where you want it. If it is to think positively, if it is to count your blessings and be grateful for them, just train your mind and energy to focus on where you want it and when you want it to be. You are unaffected or undeterred by outside elements without being too excited in pleasure. When you are winning, don't be too excited, and do not be too depressed. As I told you, depression is self-indulgence. It is thinking too much about your problems and thinking too much about yourself instead of aiming to serve and thinking about others. So yeah, if you want to live in your highest power, don't let outside elements deter you. Don't be too excited in pleasure, and don't be too depressed in pain, but be able to navigate every situation equally. The same way I've said, your relationship with God should not be determined by whether things are going well or when things are going rough. Your relationship with God should be steady, because he is as steady as he comes. Whether you have not spoken to him in years, he still loves you. Whether you have not prayed in days, he still loves you. He does not waver. That's the same way you should not waver. Don't be too self-indulged in pleasure and too depressed in pain. Try and be able to detach yourself from your feelings. Detach yourself from things and outside factors. Because if you're able to detach, it is not like, detachment is not like you own nothing, but it is that nothing owns you. You're close to everything, but you don't let it consume you. Being able to detach, being able to not, it's not like you don't own anything. You own it, you own everything, but you don't let it own you. You don't let it determine your feelings and your emotions. That's the highest power and strength. You're close to everything, but you don't let it consume you. You feel your pain, you feel your tough days, you acknowledge them. You acknowledge that today is not a good day. Today, I'm not feeling my best self. It might get you down a bit. It might make you feel a certain type of way. But do not let it determine how that day is going to go. Some days are going to take a toll on you. But don't let it determine your tomorrow. Don't let it determine whether you're going to continue that business. Don't let it determine whether you're going to read for that next paper. Don't let it determine how you're going to treat others around you, because the same people are going to be around you tomorrow when things are good. So now you treat people according to how you feel. Much as we will give you the grace that you're having a bad day, but it will not change how we feel about what you did yesterday. So be mindful of how you act, even on such days or even on such seasons, because it could be a season. It could be not just days. It could be not just months. It could be a season of just bad moments and tough times. But just remember that God cannot give you a test that He does not know that you're going to make it through. God already knows that you're able to fight it, you're able to battle with it, and you will be fine. You will be fine, and you're going to come out of it. These words, I'm also telling to myself. I'm also speaking to myself as I speak to you, because I'm not perfect. And these words are things that I would want someone to tell me, that you're doing fine. You are fine where you are. You are good. Just put one foot before the other. Just make that one step. Just move forward. Just keep going. Keep holding on. Keep praying. Keep trusting God. And keep being obedient when He tells you, or when He shows you what He wants you to do. Keep the blind faith. Because truth be told, we are all living on just a blind faith. Faith is being obedient now to what God will explain later. He's telling you to till the land now, because He knows that that land is going to blossom tomorrow. Faith is the substance of things hopeful and the evidence of things unknown or unseen. You're hoping and trusting God that He's going to come through. Keep trusting. Keep waiting on God. Keep pushing even when you don't see the results. Keep going even when you're not inspired. Keep waking up even if you're not motivated. Because in the end, God knows why. God knows why He put that thought in you. God knows why He told you to go on the path that He sent you. By showing up, you are actually walking the faith. You are actually telling God that I trust you. Keep sending those CVs even when the interviews are not coming, or when the interviews are, when the feedback is negative. Just keep doing it. If God says continue sending those CVs until the day I tell you to stop. And when that happens, He will have an answer for you. So keep doing it. Don't get tired. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Don't close shop. That shop that you have not been making good profits from, but yet God is still giving you a conviction to still go and open the doors to customers, even if no one is coming in. Just keep opening until the day that God decides otherwise. Until He gives you your next assignment. Keep doing this assignment until you're perfect at it. Because God knows why He's telling you to keep doing it. By telling you to keep doing it, He's perfecting your skill for the next assignment. Why would you want to close this chapter and yet you've not perfected it? Keep doing it. Keep showing up until He gives you the next assignment. By giving God your yes, by just saying it's okay, I will open it. I will open the doors to whoever comes in. I'll open the shop. I'll continue opening even if I'm not making money yet. God is building your resilience and testing your patience. God is giving you the grace for when He blesses you with bigger things, for when He gives you the next assignment. So keep giving God your yes. And by giving God your yes, ways in which you show God that yes, I'm ready for it, is by keep doing what He says you do. Continue doing that until He moves you to the next assignment, until He gives you a conviction for something new. And you will know that it is God who's telling you to do this, because it will feel, you will have a fight in your spirit. You will be feeling like, I really don't feel like doing this. It is too hard. It is too difficult. I can't do this anymore. I can't keep doing this. You will know it's God when you keep fighting it. When it seems too hard, but if you give Him your yes, just know that the lesson that comes from that is going to be bigger for your next assignment. It's a preparation for what He has next for you. It's the same way that people say, keep being faithful over the small. For when the big ones come, you will be ready for them. So keep pushing through the days. Build your resilience, build your strength, build your grace for yourself, build your love for yourself, build your gentleness to yourself, because It's how you treat yourself that you're going to reflect unto others. You can't project love when you don't have love inside of you. You can't project grace if you don't have grace inside of you. You can't project confidence, humility when you don't have it inside of you. For so long I've been telling those people that are around me, God has humbled me in a way that I didn't, the place and the season that I am in my life, that I have been in my life for a while, is not something that I planned for. I didn't plan for where I am now, but God has a reason why He has put me here now, in this season that I am in. Because by my own might, by my own strength, I wouldn't have put myself here. I just trust Him. I just know that it's God's doing, and that when it's His time, He will put me where I wanted to be in the first place. But again, if you don't have the grace for the next mission, if you don't have the skills for the next mission, if you're not ready for it, how will you be able to stand that? You know, you have to be prepared, you have to be molded. Just like a sword, when it's being made, it has to go through the fire. So you have to go through the fire too for you to be sharp and for you to be able to come out as a sword. You have to go through the fire, and you will survive it. You will survive it, you will be strong, and you will have a testimony. You will have a testimony because somebody needs to hear that you went through it and you came out of it. Somebody needs to hear that you did not die. It was hard, it was tough, but you made it through. You will have a testimony to inspire others and tell them that this is what I went through. I had bitter days where I was so bitter for this and these reasons. But here I am now. I have a healed heart and I'm happy. You know? So yeah, I hope that today was not a day for, I don't know if it's inspiration. I will not say this was the day for inspiration. This was not an episode for like the usual, the inspirational ones, or whatever you'd want to call it. This was just a check-in. It's just a check-in. I felt like I wanted to check in on you and check in on myself as well, because as I give you this, I'm also giving it to myself. So just to remind you that you have not yet even uncovered the surface of who you are. You are deeper than this. You haven't even begun to be who you are yet. You are on a journey. You have not yet gotten there, but you will. So don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on discovering more about you. Don't give up on uncovering the layers that are you. You are yet to discover more. You are yet to grow more. You are yet to even have tougher times. You're yet to grow even bigger. Always remember to just be positive and let God guide you, and just tell God that whatever your will is, let me have that. Just say, God, whatever your will is, let me have that, and let me have peace about it. Let me have peace about whatever your will is. If it's not your will to have that, let me have peace about it. This will help you with unnecessary pressure and unnecessary competition. Because if God is in control and you have left it all unto Him and you are putting in the work, continue just putting in the work and let God handle the rest, because He can. You will discover that when you let the will of God be and you surrender in His presence, He's going to do abundantly and exceedingly beyond what you expected. So yeah, this was just to encourage you, to just check in on you. I know it's almost the end of the first month of 2023. January is almost over. And some of us are still getting into the rhythm of the year. Other people may have started the year on a high and are on a pedestal to even bigger achievements, and maybe they are giving you pressure. Maybe life is looking some type of way and you're just starting the year. Maybe there are certain things that you are hoping to have worked out by now, but they're not working out. Maybe you feel stuck and you feel stagnant somewhere. Maybe you feel like things are not going according to plan. Don't you worry, the year is still it's still new. We're in the first month of the year. We still have 11 more to go, 11 more months to put in the work, 11 more months of smart and hard work, 11 more months of reaping the fruits of your labor, 11 more months of looking forward and hoping for the change that you want. So it's not too late. It's not even late. It's even very early. So don't put yourself down. And if you get down there, don't stay there. Don't stay down for too long. Lift yourself up and dust yourself, and we continue the fight, we continue the race, and we hope for bigger and better. So I am going to be loving you and leaving you here. I hope that this episode touched your heart and reminded you to keep pushing. I hope to see you in my next I hope that you will be here on Thursday next week for another episode of the Thought Curator podcast. Thank you so much for listening today. I am truly humbled that you gave this a thought, and thank you for listening to the end. I hope that your day goes good. I hope that you are having an amazing time. Until the next one, thank you so much, and stay bright. Stay bright and stay hopeful.